Hello everyone, this is Eli Q, and I have your good friend and agent manager experience here at Compass, John Molina. John, how you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me, Eli.
Glad to have you here, man. I've been wanting to do an interview with the agent experience manager here at Compass because, in a lot of brokerages out there, this position does not exist and is very unique here at the Compass. And I think that Compass, in many ways, in the last 7 years, have actually taken real estate to where it's supposed to be in today's age, utilizing technology, but not just that, but just really implementing the business side of it and the agent support side of it for agents to be successful and to run their businesses, right? But before we start diving deep into that, what would you want our audience to know about you?
Let's see. So I'm originally from the DC area. I moved to Philly about 3 years ago. My wife is from Philadelphia, so it kind of brought us here. I moved with Apple. I worked for Apple for about 3 years. My friends still hit me up and call me the Apple guy whenever they need help with their tech. But I love helping people utilize technology and teaching them how to navigate through it. Even, it doesn't matter what level of tech savviness you are, it's just something I enjoy doing. So I landed here and been having a great time since. Been here for about a little under 2 years. So.
That's awesome. So that's 2 years here at Compass, right?
Correct.
And you were here in Philly prior?
I was working at the Ardmore office for about a year.
Okay.
And then I transferred to the Philly office here. I live in the city, so now I get to bike to work, which is really nice.
So how did you get to this industry, from working at Apple and, with customer service and now just, supporting agents?
Yeah, so while I was at Apple back in the DC area, there were a number of folks that were actually leaving Apple to come to Compass. I was a manager at the time and I was really invested in my career. So I was always curious, but I never made a move or anything. And so I knew that Compass really valued this kind of white glove, attention to detail, customer service sort of quality that Apple employees had. And so, and then I knew, obviously what it was all about, right? It was just disrupting the real estate industry using technology. And that's something that I just felt like I could naturally, get behind. Again, just goes back to, I love helping folks understand how technology can help them better their business or personal life or whatever it really is. So,
I mean, I love it because I think that just looking back, right, what you did at Apple and just because, the technology, the technologies have changed the way that people live their lives, right? Mm-hmm. And in real estate, it's definitely one of those areas of business or sector where it has been changed so much with technology. Mm-hmm. So, but the biggest thing that's been difficult for this industry is that agent adaptation to utilizing and knowing how to keep up with the ever-changing technology, but right. Having people in that role to be able help agents succeed, but also just overcome those blocks where they're well, how do I do this and have that service instantly in-house. I think is very important. I would say for me, switching from another brokerage coming to Compass, that was the biggest thing where it's oh my god, you have this person here that can teach you how to not only how to run your business using that platform, right? And learn and teach that to your agent and your team, but also just figure out how to do some IT work for you, right? Because even it's a matter of how do I connect my Apple MacBook Pro to the printer, and you had that there, right? Which is awesome. But for people that don't know, and maybe even for agents that are at Compass right now, tell us about what is an agent experience manager?
Yeah, so really just kind of that go-to person, like you mentioned. So bread and butter is truly the tools and the platform. So if a principal agent comes to me and say, hey, can you lead a training with my team on Business Tracker, our pipeline management tool, or teach my agents how to import their contacts into their CRM, that's my bread and butter. That's where I have the most fun doing my job, to be quite frank. But in terms of everything else, we're that go-to person. We're that front desk. So if you have questions about marketing or transactions and you need to be hooked up with the right person, you can come to us and we'll direct your questions. We'll figure it out for you, or at least get you in front of the right person. So we truly become, IT support, tool support, marketing support, kind of all in one. And you have, as an agent, you have our phone number, our email, you have access to us to call and text us. And so it's something that other brokerages definitely don't have. And I think it's, the nice thing is, and a lot of times I get asked like, oh, well, do you have to deal with like the brunt end of things when things aren't working? And yeah, we do. But the really nice thing is that agents don't get upset with us because they know it's not our fault. It's technology that we're dealing with after all. And sometimes that stuff just doesn't work the way it's supposed to. We're typically the ones to solve problems. And so agents tend to be pretty fond of us, which is awesome.
The other thing about that too is that, like any tech company, right? When, especially like, a big one like ours, right? The public company, is that there's going to be things that don't go the way they're supposed to. But one thing I've noticed is that Compass fixes issues like really quickly. It's like sometimes like within the same hour, right? So, which makes it easier for you guys too as well to kind of like manage agent expectation, but also for most agents coming from a place that they had no support before and getting the support they're getting now, I mean, I bet a lot of them are just grateful and thankful to have you guys here.
Right, exactly.
But what's the biggest challenge that you face, right, in your role?
Yeah, I think for me, the biggest challenge is, and probably coming into my role to begin with, it's like, all right, awesome, this platform is so great. I'm gonna get everyone to come to me all the time and like teach them, or I'm gonna be proactive and go teach agents. Agents are very busy, and it's something that I didn't know before coming into this role or this industry. And sometimes it's just a little bit tricky to kind of get agents riled up about a new tool or a new feature, things like that. And so I think the biggest challenge really for me is like selling the value of the platform to my principal agents, so much so that they want to be the ones to say, hey, can you lead a training with my team, or things like that. And I think that ebbs and flows throughout the year, right? We just went through summer and it was kind of dead in here. Agents are going on vacation, or they're everyone has their own life. And so I think as we start to kind of drill back down here in September, it's going to be great to kind of reconnect with a lot of agents. So
yeah, so I know it's hard to get attention from agents, right? And sometimes for us it feels that there's this new shiny toy somewhere else, right? So like there's a lot of our attention span going to different areas. And the most difficult part as an agent, I can tell you this, like when you're learning new technology, and from a team leader perspective, is that I think about like, what's the likelihood that our agents are they're gonna start using this tool, right? And getting them from, not only teach them how to do it, but show them how it can help their businesses, right? That's the other thing, because they're, a lot of them like, okay, just another tool. Because a lot of times for me, like I'm a visionary, right? So I constantly think of ways how I can like, make things better and grow and the scale. So I'm like definitely that definition of Compass principle of dream big. And my team sometimes is like, oh, here's another one, right? It's like one of those things. So like, I have to spend a lot of time to show them like, hey, this is this tool that's going to do for you to grow your business. This is how you can utilize this to have more sales, help more people. So you constantly have to do that, right? I'm assuming.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, definitely. I always say that everyone within the company is in some sort of sales role, in some aspect of it. It's selling the value of the platform, because once somebody buys in, and it's a lot easier obviously to do when somebody first joins Compass, or if they're a principal agent, they know what they're getting themselves into, right? They know why they're coming to Compass. It's for the technology, 9 times out of 10. But it's a lot of times it's expressing that value and showing them exactly what they can do. And it's not like you're going to learn the entire platform in a day. It's a massive platform, and there's a lot of different tools to kind of pick and choose from. But there's routes to go, and there's building blocks that you can start to set up, like importing all of your contacts into your CRM. All the tools play off of each other, and if you start with the basics, like importing your CRM, that's going to go miles, as you start to dive deeper into the platform.
So kind of leading to that, like if you had to like choose, right? Like what's the one tool that agents should definitely like, just if they can focus on all of them, right? Just like one tool that they should do really well that you think is gonna, give them the best ROI for the buck, for the business that they're looking to do.
Business tracker.
Business tracker.
Hands down.
Why is that?
Business Tracker, if used correctly. So Business Tracker is basically, when that tool rolled out, it's the tool that combined all of the other tools and made it a one-stop shop for where you can collect everything, your collections, your linked CMAs for any particular client. You can take a client from being a lead to closing the deal with our end-to-end transaction management tool that's coming.
Got it.
All the way through, and you not have to leave to any other tool or any other website or third party or anything like that.
So basically, it's like the CRM on steroids that connects with like everything there on that platform, right?
Yeah.
So
a lot of agents tend to keep everything up in their head in terms of like remembering who to follow up with or what lead you have, looking at what. This is an amazing way, Business Tracker, to keep track of everyone that you have in the pipeline. So yeah.
And which tool do you think is like the one that's like the most used, where the agents have adapted to the most, like in your opinion?
I think probably collections is like just like a quick and easy tool to learn that for face value kind of gives you the most ROI, because you're sending your client a collection of listings and they're able to look at them in a Compass branded app, and so it's quick and easy to learn. But there's so much to build on, off of that. So,
and like if all your dreams come true, right? And you say like, hey, you know what? Like doing my job, if agent would only do this thing or these two things, it would obviously make your job easier, but also they could start to see the benefits. Like what are those things? Like what do you think agents should be doing today?
Yeah, I think time blocking and spending some time to learn the platform. Like, if there's a tool that you want to learn, we have Compass Academy, right? We have 4 or 5 minute videos, several videos, right, on different tools that they can start to dive into and eat at it, a little bite at a time, and kind of start to learn the platform. Whether it's importing your CRM and kind of kicking things off that way, or learning Business Tracker, that sort of thing, or utilize their agent experience manager, because that's what we're here for.
Got it. And in your role right now, does every office have someone designated as agent experience manager?
Yeah, every office has at least one agent experience manager. Some of the bigger offices have as many as 4, and there's always someone in the office. So if certain agent experience managers are working from home, then others are in the office to cover. I know for my agents, if I'm working from home one day, like I said, I bike to work. So if anybody's like, hey, can you meet me in the office for, I'll hop on my bike and be here in a second. So that's what we do. We help each other out as a team ourselves, and we're always available to help our agents as well.
And being in this role, like what would you say is like some of the most important traits someone in this role should have to do this?
A lot of patience.
A lot of patience.
Yeah, definitely patience. Just in terms of being able to teach agents of varying technological backgrounds how to use the platform, but also when things aren't working the way they should, and you're reaching out to different support teams, you might not get an answer within the first 30 minutes. You might have to kind of hang tight and be a relationship manager in that sense. So, yeah, I would say patience is number one.
Cool.
Yeah.
How would you say, like, how do you like working here at Compass? Like, how is it like to work here for a company such as Compass?
Yeah, I love it, honestly. I just think that there is so much opportunity, with where the company's headed, with the tools that are being built out for the platform, with it, going completely end to end here in a month's time or so, hopefully. I just think that they're outside of the agent experience team too. There's just so much that the company is building around agent programming, opportunities to network with other agents in the office or virtually, however is best for you. Or different challenges for agents that will motivate in different ways. People are constantly innovating different ways to kind of get agents riled up around either a new tool or a new initiative. So it's pretty great.
And when I first joined Compass, it was like a little over 3 years ago here in our market. Compass was definitely had that mindset and that vibe that we were still in the garage state, right? So meaning like we're a startup, and now like we're this huge national public company, right? And soon probably international. And I've saw a lot of people here just kind of like take advantage of the growth and you take opportunities. And just like be able to do something in their career that just kind of like gave them the ability to have an impact, right? Like, what's the next path for you here at Compass?
Yeah, thanks for asking. I think for me, as much as I love my team, the agent experience team, it's a great first role within the company. But I definitely want to see myself, or would like to be in a place where I can make a bigger impact throughout the company itself. One team that I've been partnering a lot with is the customer success team, which they've been building out programs, like I mentioned, so different impact days that get the entire company of agents together, all doing the same exercises and kind of going through the same calls, and that all comes with just being a Compass agent, that you can attend these different sessions. So it's that to me is very appealing, to kind of have a bigger impact on agents at a more national level.
You got it. So like to be able to make a difference on a national level is something that's like the next step for you, right?
Yeah.
I would say like for a real estate brokerage, right? Compass like certainly offers that to a lot of their employees.
Yeah. People definitely move around on different teams. I think the agent, like I said, I think the agent experience team is just a great starting step, because you get to learn so many different skills and you get to touch so many different areas of the business. I didn't know anything about real estate before joining Compass, really. And so this has kind of just been and I'm still learning every day, but it's kind of just been a great kickoff to my career here at Compass.
With the market shifting and a lot of changes kind of seen out there in the real estate industry, Compass also, announcing like news laying off a lot of the staff, like how would that impact you, and how do you think it impacted like the team here at Compass?
It's hard for me to speak for the rest of the team, but for me, I think there definitely was like a level of uncertainty, as naturally as that is, but I look at it as just opportunity now. I think the dust has settled, and I think that there's areas for me to kind of tap into some of the stuff that other people were doing, and there's just room for growth. That's what I see.
And reading all the national media and the news, the headlines, Compass certainly gets the attention. Like, how does that make you feel, like when you see that?
To be honest, I kind of just put on blinders, and I know that I'm here and I'm making an impact with my agents, and that's as far ahead as I can look. So I put blinders on when it comes to those like headlines and stuff, and I'm happy with what I'm doing here right now.
So John, we depend and lean on you guys a lot here on our team, and I thought it would be really interesting for our audience to kind of get a better idea and learn like what it would be like, or what is a journey that an agent takes when they're joining Compass or joining a team at Compass.
Yeah. I think those are two, they're a little bit different. Like a principal agent joining Compass is going to be speaking with somebody about joining, and they're going to kind of get to know the platform a little bit, and that 9 times out of 10 is going to be just one of the biggest draws of Compass, and the reason they would be joining in the first place. A team member that's joining a team here at Compass may be shown the platform, and they probably have an idea, but they may not have gone as into depth as a principal agent joining, and so the actual onboarding itself is pretty similar, but then what we call the post-boarding and all the work afterwards, that's where it kind of changes up a little bit. The onboarding, they go through, they get their basically credentials, accounts created to get access to the platform, access to any third-party sites that we're currently using, like Zip Forms, DocuSign, that sort of thing.
And that's all done for them, right?
That's all done for them. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. They just basically get access to it and get shown how to access.
And the same thing if they're transferring their license over.
All of that gets handled by our onboarding teams and by our agent experience team.
That's great.
Yeah, so that's awesome. And then essentially what we go through from there is they meet with their agent experience manager and kind of build out like a schedule or like a cadence to meet, once a week, twice a week, once every other week. Whatever level of tech savviness usually translates to how often we're going to meet, and we kind of start to go through the tools, start to lay that groundwork, like I mentioned earlier, like importing their CRM and that sort of thing, kind of diving into Business Tracker a little bit, creating a collection for one of their buyers that they might be working with already. But all those tools will kind of build off of each other, and as they start to get more comfortable with the tool, we probably start meeting a little bit less and less, but we're there the entire time basically and available whenever they need us. So
that's awesome. And I'd say for a principal agent that's joining, for example, like they making a move, obviously that's just like takes a lot of energy, right? And especially if you're running a team that's producing, it's hard to kind of like step away from that day-to-day grind. But like I guess having support from someone like you here can take away that the task and do it for them, right? And probably do it even better, right? Than that principal agent to do it. And for a solo agent or an agent that's joining the team, that I'd say that I think that offers a lot of certainty because you have that additional layer of support beside that what the team brings, but also that you can count on like the agent manager, agent experience manager, or agent success, whichever department is going to be there to help them kind of get a better understanding and get started with utilizing the Compass tools so they can take advantage of that and grow their business.
Definitely. We actually used to get a funny piece of feedback that was like, I don't know who to go to because there's so many different avenues for support. And so we very much simplified that and just made it, all right, go to your agent experience manager. They'll direct you to the right person by creating a front door. But that's just, it speaks to how much support there is here at Compass, where you have access to a marketing team, you have access to a transactions team, a sales manager and an agent experience manager. And so yeah, a new agent joining will be very well off in that sense.
That's awesome. Thank you. What do you think the real estate industry will look like in the next 5 years?
I think, and this is me speaking from my role because I'm not a licensed real estate agent, but I think that if Compass continues to do what they're doing, Compass is going to have a big impact in the real estate industry. I know that we obviously have some of the top producing agents in the city here in Philadelphia, and that's the same in a lot of other major cities in the U.S. And just the direction that we're going with building out agent programming, whether it's different networking days or things like that, but also building out the platform that can be as impactful as it is. It's going to be pretty incredible to see when you combine those two things, real estate and technology. So I'm excited to see it.
So how would that would impact an average agent here?
I think if you're bought in, that you'll see the ROI. I can't speak to specifically any certain numbers or anything, but I think if you take the time to buy into the platform and kind of learn how this pipeline management tool can help you keep track of leads that you may have lost touch with otherwise, or automate your workflow in a way where you're not having to remember, oh, I have to send this out to this client, or I forgot to send this out. You're creating checklists that automatically get assigned to certain clients, and you can automate your workflow. Therefore, you have other time, more time to connect with clients that you might have otherwise kind of left on the back burner. That's the stuff that's gonna speed up your business and amplify that. So
it's awesome. And knowing like everything that Compass working on, right? Like, what's the one thing that you're most excited about in the future?
Yeah, I think Robert has talked a lot about like the end-to-end platform, and truly making it so that you don't have to go to ZipForms or Dotloop or DocuSign or any other website out there, that everything can be managed and completed within the Compass platform. That's not too far away at all right now. And I think once that does roll out, it's just going to be awesome. I mean, there will literally be no reason to go anywhere to get your marketing done, to input your forms for compliance, to send out your forms for signature, to access your form library in general. Everything will be done within the platform, and that's going to be super exciting to share with agents.
Awesome. John, I'm going to ask you just a few closing questions.
Yeah.
Just more about you. So what do you like to do for fun?
So I'm not from Philly originally. Like I said, I'm from DC. So I love just exploring the city. I'm a big foodie, so I like, restaurants and things like that. I'm a big runner, so I like running all over the city. I've ran Broad Street like 3 times now so far since I've been here. And that's a lot of fun. I'm running the half in November, which is gonna be fun. Maybe next year I'll run the full, we'll see.
It's a lot of fun. It's a good run, actually.
Yeah, you ran the full?
Yeah, I ran the full.
That's awesome.
I've done the Broad Street a bunch of times.
Okay.
I've done the triathlons here.
That's awesome.
I've done all the races, and in Philly, it's a lot of fun.
I heard Philly was a good full, so I'm very tempted, yeah.
Yeah,
Not this year, but next year.
And like you mentioned restaurant, like what's your favorite restaurant?
I knew you were gonna ask me that, and it's hard to say. The last restaurant that I went to, oh geez, now I'm gonna blank. I knew you were gonna ask me this too. Well, it'll come back. Ambrosia on 24th. That's the last restaurant I just went to.
24th and what?
Phenomenal. It's like 24th and I want to say Pine.
24th and Pine. Okay,
somewhere
got
around
it. In Philly Square, got it. And what neighborhood do you guys live?
I'm in South Philly.
South Philly.
So I'm in like Girard Estates area.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So and what about if you were to recommend like 1 or 2, 3 books to our audience there, what would they be?
Yeah, so the first book, I've read more this year than I've read in previous years, which is awesome. I'm trying to get back into it, but one book that I fell in love with was Dave Grohl, The Storyteller. It's Dave Grohl's autobiography, the drummer for Nirvana, frontman for the Foo Fighters. He's from my hometown, which is really hit close to home, but he is a hell of a storyteller, and it's just a really fun read. The other one that I would recommend is called How to Write One Song. It's by Jeff Tweedy, who's the lead singer of Wilco. And really it's about tapping into your creative side. So whether you're a songwriter or you're an artist or really anything to do with creativity at all, it's about putting yourself in front of, putting yourself in the way of inspiration, of opportunity. So, you're not just sitting there and one day you're gonna be inspired to write a song. That doesn't happen. You have to put a piece of paper in front of you, put a pen in your hand, and just start writing. The way a kid will lay down on the ground with a box of crayons and just start drawing without any judgment of towards himself. You have to kind of do the same thing, and we kind of lose that as adults. So it's a quick read. It's like a little pocketbook, but it's a lot of fun.
I mean, that's cool. I mean, I can tell you're an artist and musician. It's like, what did you play?
Yeah, I grew up playing guitar. When I was in 7th grade is when I started. And in my house, we always kind of had a drum set, bass, guitar. So I just kind of grew up playing. I stopped playing for a bit in college because, I don't know, college and whatever, but I've recently picked it back up, and I love listening to music and love playing, so.
Awesome. I'm gonna ask you one quick question.
Yeah.
If you were to give any advice to team principals out there, right? At Compass or outside of Compass, like what's the one thing that you see from your point of view that you wish team principals or leaders were providing to the agents in their team?
Yeah, I think this is going to be completely biased, but utilizing your agent experience manager, like I'm here to lead trainings for your team, and that's something that it's invaluable, and other brokerages don't have that. So if you want your team to use a certain tool, if you know that utilizing Business Tracker, or utilizing public collections, or utilizing digital CMAs is going to benefit your team, I can show your team how to do that. Like, you don't even have to spend the time to do it, or I can jump on one of your team meetings. So utilize me, utilize the programs that are available to agents here at Compass, because there's tons of them and they're very impactful. So,
all right, John, listen, thank you so much, my friend. This is great. If how can people reach you, either Compass agents or non-Compass agents who are considering, wanting to learn more about Compass, right?
Yeah.
And what we do, like, how can they reach you?
You can reach me by email, john.molina, JON.MOLINA @compass.com. It's probably the best way to reach me, to be honest.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks.
That was awesome.
Yeah.